Hello and welcome to the Northern Souls podcast. I'm your host, Zeke. So today I want to talk about morality and virtue and what I think that looks like for the Norse pagan. Normally, when people first come to this religion, they're ecstatic at the idea that this is a religion with no rules or laws, unlike Christianity's Ten Commandments, for example. While this is true to an extent, this does not mean that our ancestors didn't have any kind of values or moral code. All societies in existence are tied together with socially agreed upon values, and when this agreement begins to dissipate, so does the society. So that begs the question, what values should we hold? Our ancestors left no record of a code of ethics or virtues that they held themselves accountable to. However, it is possible to derive values that they held from historical sources and from parts of the Prose and Poetic Edda, specifically from the Havamal. A number of people have actually already done just that. You may have come across the Nine Noble Virtues. They are as follows: courage, truth, honor, fidelity, discipline, hospitality, self-reliance, industriousness, and perseverance. Now, some heathens have criticized the idea of the Nine Noble Virtues, and probably the biggest criticism is that it feels Christian. It is or feels too similar to the Ten Commandments. Also, some have also brought up that our ancestors never had a written down set of values, and that oftentimes the interpretation of these virtues are subjective. So, is there value in the Nine Noble Virtues? Should you follow them? Is there another set of virtues that you should follow? Is the mere idea of the Nine Noble Virtues a Christianization of paganism and should be discarded altogether? In short, I would say that you absolutely should have some form of moral code. And this is not just because our gods demand it and will punish you with an eternity in hellfire, but because it is the right thing to do. Again, all societies have had some form of social mores or values, and it also helps to connect to our ancestors, especially the pre-Christian ones, if you model for yourself some form of moral code that is similar to what they would have followed. It is even better if you can find a community in which you all share the same code and values, because I stand by my belief that this religion is not one that you can practice by yourself long term. Having a community, a tribe, is essential, especially if we want this way to not just survive, but to thrive. So, does this mean that you have to follow the Nine Noble Virtues that we've already defined? No. However, I personally believe that they encapsulate the ideal moral character of our pre-Christian ancestors. However, if you don't think or feel the same as me on this point, that's perfectly fine. I would encourage you to figure out what is true for you and to live by it. Lastly, is the idea of the Nine Noble Virtues a Christianization of Norse paganism? Not at all. The idea that codified morality is a Christian concept is, frankly speaking, ignorant. Much of the cultural foundation of the West is based on pagan Greek and Roman philosophers. In fact, it was the Greek philosopher Aristotle who came up with 12 virtues and vices. I will say that the Nine Noble Virtues is an attempt to make this religion a religion in the truest sense of the word. So what do I mean by this? Well, if we were to jump into a time machine and ask our pre-Christian ancestors what their religion is, they would not understand us. This is because they did not have a religion as we understand it today. What they had were a set of spiritual beliefs and cultural practices that were so closely intertwined with their tribal identities that they were inseparable. A religion is an organized set of beliefs and practices and typically revolves around the worship of a controlling deity or deities. A religion can be transferred and accepted from place to place. What our pre-Christian ancestors had could not. It does not fit that bill. However, times have changed, and it has become necessary for us to make our ancestors' spiritual practices into a religion for its survival. And because Norse paganism is religiously and culturally in the minority, some form of organization of beliefs are necessary in order to pass them on to the next generation. I hope this has cleared up that issue for you. If anybody has any questions, comments, or concerns, please be sure to leave them in the comments section. And until next time, have a great day.